All right, here's your Illinois state government overview, PowerPoint note taking session. Follow along on the notes if you'd like, kind of understand just how the government is set up in Illinois so you can kind of review, fill out the review guide, and take the test. First off, Illinois, just a little background, ratified, this newest constitution was ratified in 1970, has three branches similar to our United States government. And what they kind of covers local government, taxes, education, elections, and voting. So looking at the different articles 1 and 2, Article 1 is the Bill of Rights, guarantees Illinois citizens as U.S. Constitution does, your certain rights that you're guaranteed. Guarantees that citizens will not be discriminated against based on sex, physical handicaps, things like that. And then Article 2 talks about the different powers of the branches, legislative, executive, and judicial branch. Some voting and election requirements in Article 3. You have to be a U.S. citizen, 18 years old. You have to live in Illinois for at least 30 days. And people in prison cannot vote, but can vote when they are released. In the general election, then, so voting for members of the General Assembly, that's the name of what is kind of like Congress in Illinois, so your Senate and House of Reps in Illinois. And it's held every 2 years on even years. The U.S. president is elected in general election in the years divisible by 4. And then in your primaries, which are in the spring, each political party kind of has a bunch of candidates running against each other, and you choose the top one. Illinois State, again, is bicameral, so 2 houses in the House of Reps. So some key things that you'll need to know to fill out the study guide. 118 members in the House of Reps. They serve 2-year terms, and each district has one. So there's 118 different districts in Illinois. The presiding officer, the person responsible for the House of Representatives, is called the Speaker of the House. And each person in Illinois lives in one legislative district and one representative district. The representative district is by a senator. The legislative district is by your House of Rep. So a senator then, it's kind of different here, 2 or 4-year terms. So it kind of varies. There's 59 members, 1 senator elected from the legislative district, so there's 59 of them. And your presiding officer is a senator chosen by the Senate, and this is known as the President of the Senate. Article 4 then, making state laws. So a bill, again, it's a proposed idea, proposed law, must go to the General Assembly and then must have a majority vote to pass that bill. The bill is then sent to the governor, and within 30 days, they either sign it into law or veto it. Item vetoes allows the governor to veto 1 or more items in an appropriation bill. This cannot be done by a president of the United States, but can be done by governors. The House of Reps has the power to impeach the governor and state officers in case of wrongdoing. The Senate then resides and hears that impeachment case. Each House and General Assembly determines its rules, so they have different rules in each of the houses and the different qualifications for the members. Looking at the executive branch then, Article 5, the state executive, 6 elected officials. They must be 25, U.S. citizen, live in Illinois for at least 3 years. So the biggest one, again, your governor carries out the laws, in charge of the National Guard in the state, can sign and veto bills. The lieutenant governor is kind of like the vice president, usually from the same political party, runs alongside, sometimes performs duties that are delegated by the governor. Then the Attorney General is your legal officer, your top lawyer for the state. Your Secretary of State maintains official state records as well as driver's license. So we know Jesse White as the individual in Illinois. The Treasurer then, responsible for safekeeping and investment of money, disperses money upon order of the Comptroller. So has all the money, and then if someone needs to pay bills, they give that money to that person. The Comptroller then kind of is looking over those bills, making those payments, and looking at the funds and getting those funds from the treasurer. Again, fiscal is money, and the fiscal year runs from July 1st to June 30th. Looking at your court system, judicial branch, 3 types of court. The top would be your Illinois Supreme Court. Then the middle is your appellate court, where they appeal cases, but your circuit courts are your trial courts. That's where all the cases begin. For state cases is your circuit courts. Illinois has 5 large judicial districts. Illinois judges are elected except associate judges. So the main judge of each court in that area is elected, but then the other judges right below that person, they're appointed. They're called associate judges. So looking at some other local government stuff, each part of Illinois has counties, cities, villages, townships. That they all have their own rules, laws, and regulations. There's limited powers of them. They can pass ordinances, protect people, issue licenses, borrow some money. The state does have more power than those local governments. Looking at finance, government money must be used for public purposes, so the money that is gained by taxes must be used on the public. The governor kind of prepares the budget, but it must be kind of approved. And then the legislative branch, the General Assembly, decides how it will actually be spent. Looking at revenue, so Article 9, no personal property tax. So they can't tax me on a car or things like that, but they can tax me on my actual property. Um, then there is no property tax for state owned or government owned school districts, churches, things like that don't have to, and the same with hospitals. Looking at education, it is to develop all people. It's free through secondary level, meaning through high school. And the State Board of Education plans all those education programs. And then Article 11 is the environment, and Article 12 should be National Guard. Article 13, just some general provisions. People convicted of serious crimes cannot hold office. Candidates or holders of state offices must file their economic interest, looking at their taxes and things. The state of Illinois can be sued if someone else wants to sue them, and state money can be spent for public education. That's important. Article 14, Constitutional Revision, talks about looking at the Constitution. Voters must decide every 20 years if a convention is needed to make some changes. The voters approve of that, and the General Assembly cannot change Article 4, which would affect the structure or procedures of itself. So they can't kind of adjust how their job looks. The voters have to do that. Voters cannot change Article 4, which would take away powers of General Assembly, however. All right, so then just looking at comparison, you can look through this, qualifications and the differences, but we really need to focus on the Illinois portion.